Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I want to chat with you guys a little bit about the fact that TRT doesn't add significant amounts of muscle. And again, this is not my opinion. This is largely what the research shows, and it's what we find. And the problem is that this is a video I have to make over and over and over because it seems like no matter how many times I discuss this or make videos, people still chime in comments and things, and they say, "Oh, did you up your TRT dose? You got a lot stronger. You made a lot of gains since that last meet or whatever, right? Like you got way bigger and thicker. Your lifts went up." And it's like, no, you don't up your TRT dose. You take what the doctor prescribes to keep you in the normal range. And if you do that, you probably won't make any real gains from it. Okay, you probably won't, nothing noticeable. And I've never actually told you guys in recent years that I'm on TRT, so I don't know where people get that. And if anything, that would be indicative of not being on TRT. Because TRT means you take exactly what is needed to be in the healthy range, nothing more. Nothing more. And I hold a very pro-TRT stance. And we're in a situation, unfortunately, to where guys can't even talk about TRT or admit to it simply because if you admit to TRT at all now, it seems like everyone expects you to be pro bodybuilder size, you know. The guys who use 100 times TRT are suddenly the benchmark for anyone who uses testosterone. Well, the reality is, if you guys want to know the truth of it, look around at guys you know who are on TRT. In my age group, it's very, very, very high. I'm going to go out on a limb and say out of the guys I know in my age, 40 plus, probably half of them, non-lifters really, like people who aren't serious about training, half of them are on TRT. That I've met when these topics come up. Probably half, just rough estimate. It's very common. Are any of them jacked? Like, how many people do you see who look just like a normal middle-aged guy who's prescribed testosterone? A lot. So what to do for them if it's not gains? Well, do you guys think there are whole clinics and entire areas like that that are dedicated to your gains? No, it's dedicated to health. And here's what I would say. If you qualify for TRT, you should be on TRT. If you look at the data that we have in the long-term studies, anyone who medically qualifies for TRT who chooses not to do it is going to have a higher risk of death. Okay? Being natural is unhealthy in that case. Quote unquote natural. It's actually unhealthy. What do we mean specifically? Heart attack and stroke. Heart attack and stroke. And it's 30+% higher chance. So what they found in long-term studies, looking at tens of thousands of men, is that men with clinically low testosterone, which at a certain point starts to become the vast majority. You start getting to certain ages, it starts turning into, 50%, 80%, 90%. So on and so forth, or clinically low, as we get into different age categories. Obesity epidemic doesn't help. But when those men are looked at, the men who go on TRT versus those who do not, who all medically qualify, those who do have a 30% lower or more, I think in one stroke it was higher, I think, of having a stroke or heart attack. Okay, that's massive. That statistic alone should be enough to get your attention. Then we come over to the quality of life, the sex drive. How much stuff do we see out there that are ED meds? You guys are having to take Viagra all the time as they get older. If they just got their blood pressure under control and went on TRT, they wouldn't even need it. The problem with all this is that we have something that is widely understood in many circles to be an extremely valid part of health and medical care. They get stigmatized because of that. And that's the big problem. I would say that's the biggest issue, is that you literally have people all over the internet in the lifting world who stigmatize TRT, and they act as if it is somehow a bad thing. And I'll see guys who will say stuff like, well, I'm doing this over here without TRT, and it'll be a middle-aged guy. And it's like, okay, so are you telling me you're stupid? Because that's what I'm hearing. If a person says, I'm doing this without TRT, well, does that mean you qualified for TRT? Because if they say yes, and they're choosing not to do it, as far as I'm concerned, they're a fucking idiot. You guys see the point? I chose not to follow a medical get a prescription that I know could save my life and improve my health. And they're bragging about it? No, it makes you a fucking moron is what it makes you. Who wants to die young and be unhealthy. Now, if they say, well, I don't have low testosterone, then why would you bring up TRT? Because here's what we find. People who go on TRT don't have any benefit over people with normal testosterone levels. They don't gain any more muscle. It's the same amount. And it's not as much as you think. All right, guys are like, well, you're saying guy goes on TRT, they might gain a pound or two of muscle. But then people say, but that adds up over the years. I didn't say a pound or two of muscle every year. Okay, you gain all of the muscle you're going to gain from TRT within the first 6 months. That pound or so you're going to gain extra, or whatever, 2 pounds, maybe in extreme cases. You gain it all within a few months, and then it stops. It doesn't keep adding more and more. I mean, you know how unrealistic that would be? Do you know that if the average gear user were to be able to gain the same amount of muscle every year and keep all of it and keep gaining it from their gear, you know how big guys would be who use almost nothing? You know how monsters they would be after 10 years, 15 years? Come on. You don't just keep getting bigger by staying on the same amount. You only gain muscle they're gaining is from their training. Beyond that. And you're not going to notice that 1 or 2 pounds. That's not going to be visible in the mirror over the course of 6 months. You're going to feel better. Probably going to recover better. That might be worth something on the training end, and I think it is. But as far as actual real muscle growth itself directly from it, it's very, very low. So there's no advantage. There's no real advantage over someone who just has a normal level. You just get the same results they do. Okay. It's not magic, and it's medicine. Alright guys, well that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.